Well, we are just so excited to be here with everyone on today. I am Prophet Vikki Ammons, the General Overseer of Restoration Covenant Alliance International, along with my husband, Apostle Charlie Ammons, and I'm also the founder of Wow Ministries International. And we want to welcome you to our live forum. Can we just take a moment and give God some praise and some glory and some honor for all that He is doing in our lives? And how about what He is yet to do? We just celebrate everyone who has just saw fit to join us live via the internet church. We're just excited to be here. I am equally excited to have with us our author, Shukita Massey. Shakita, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited.
We are excited as well. So Deacon Shukita, we have an audience here through the internet church, and we're going to record the session for today so that men and women all over the globe can replay the phenomenal insight that we are going to provide on the book that God has blessed you to author by the name of O. Parker. And so even on today, to aid us in facilitating our live forum, we have Joyce Jackson. Can we give a shout out to Miss Joyce Jackson? She is going to serve as our right hand for today. She's going to be checking the chat room for any questions and comments that you might have. And so please join us in the chat room. We want to make this as interactive and informative as possible. So if you're hearing some information or you're seeing something for the first time and you have a question, Joyce Jackson is going to be your woman. Say, Miss Joyce, I need to know A, B, and C, and Miss Joyce will make sure she conveyed that to us here in the Zoom room. So we thank you, Joyce, for joining us on today. Did you read the book, Joyce? I'm gonna put on the spot, y'all. She's muted. She's like, I'm on assignment. And so we also are honored and want you to be able to let our guests know that you are loving and you're appreciating what they're sharing and how they are pouring out of their hearts. And so it is just an extreme honor to come to you on today on behalf of our author, Shukita Massey, and the book that she has written. Shukita is a wife and she's a head deacon in the ministry, the wife of Deacon Melvin Massey, who's the owner of Level Up Fitness, and she's the mother of 3, and I'm sure she will share more about herself a little later on, and I'm honored to be able to present her to you during her recent release of her book, O. Parker. Everyone should have secured their book, O. Parker. She will share ways that you can reach out to the various retailers and secure this book for those loved ones in your family so that you can be a blessing to someone who would benefit from the life stories that are conveyed through this book. And so we also have with us on today 4 phenomenal youth who accepted the challenge to read one of the 4 stories and to share on the life lesson that is learned within that story. So first of all, I want her to be able to greet you all and say hello all the way from Madison, Alabama. I hope I got that right. We have Abigail Brandon. Let's give it up for Miss Abigail. So Abigail, if you would unmute and just say hello and greet the audience.
Hello.
And you are in Madison, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. And so we also will be having join us Keziah DeValle. Yay. We're going to get Miss Joyce to reach out to Miss Kenya and make sure that Miss Keziah is doing okay and that she is going to be able to join us here in the Zoom room. She's from Williamsburg, Virginia. So Joyce, if you would reach out to Miss Kenya DeValle and check in on Keziah, that would be great. But then we also have Brianna Robinson from Hampton, Virginia. Where are you at, Brianna? Okay. Miss Brianna, hey, you glad to be here with us today, Brianna?
Yes.
Love it. We're looking forward to hearing what you're going to have to share with us. And last but certainly not least, we have a teen in the Zoom room, none other than Junior Deacon Elijah Williams. Let's give it up for Junior Deacon in the house. And guess what, y'all? He's so influential. He has a special guest to introduce. Go ahead, Junior Deacon Elijah. Tell us a little bit about yourself and who you have joining us in the Zoom room.
My name's Elijah Williams, and I got my sister right here, Araya Williams, right here in the Zoom meeting.
Can we give it up? Can we give it up?
Hi, Araya.
Thank you, Junior D. And so I appreciate you from a team's world taking time out of your busy schedule today to spend about an hour with us to share regarding the book. So ladies and gentlemen, without further hesitation, I want to introduce to some, present to others, Deacon Shukita Massey, author of Old Parker. Deacon Shukita, before you share, I have a question that I'm sure a lot of people have, but they're just not bold enough to ask, and I can ask because we are hosting the forum. But from your perspective, who is Parker? Who is this beautiful young girl? Is it you? Is this you in your childhood? Who is Old Parker, and how did you just come about authoring this awesome, phenomenal short story?
Yes, PV, that is an awesome question. Great question. And who is Parker? That's a very good question. I would say that Parker is a mixture of all of us when we were little. I would consider her to be very inquisitive, very courageous, but also trying to figure out how to maneuver through different circumstances. And so how I came up with Parker is just, how sometimes your parents tell you about how you were as a child, and they may share stories with you and different stories. And it just got me to thinking like, wow, I know there are children out there who go through different experiences, and they would love to have someone that they can relate to, that they can read about, that goes through these similar experiences. And so that's how I created Parker. And I just thought about some situations that a young child may find themselves in. And so Parker was established. The name Parker is actually an ode to my mother. Her last name used to be Parker before she was married. And so that's how I came up with the name Parker. And then from there, I just thought about some of the things that my mom shared with me, and some of the things that I would hear about with my children, my sons going through, and other children going through, and just my line of work. And I, God downloaded these stories into my heart. And so here we are.
Awesome. A little bit about the individual who illustrated the pictures, Shakita.
Yes. So Nadia is very interesting. I've never met her in person. This was a virtual relationship. I found her through an online platform where creative people go to source out their skills. And so I found her. I looked at her work, and we decided to work together. I gave her my vision and what I was looking for. And she did these sketches for me, and she would send them to me for approval. And I would say, yes, that's exactly what I want. And she did the illustrations, and I've never met her personally. But I, thanked her and said, thank you so much for collaborating with me on this project. And I wanted to make sure that even though it's not required, that she got her credit, and that, her name was included as being an illustrator on the book. So
she did a beautiful job illustrating and conveying just the spirit of Parker. And so definitely, Nadia, we want to shout you out as well during the highlight of the Old Parker book. And so Shakita, if you could just share a few ways that the books are available. How do someone obtain the book?
Yeah, so there are a variety of retailers that Old Parker is available for purchase at. The main ones, which I'm sure you or your parents go to every single day almost: Walmart, Target. It's also available online at Amazon. All of these would be online. Amazon, is available electronically through Kindle. So if you have a family member who would prefer, a child who prefers reading via their tablet, it is available that way. I know at Barnes & Noble it is available, and I think you can also go into the store and have it ordered if they don't have actual copies. So there's a variety of ways that you can secure your copy.
Awesome, awesome. And so it is conveyed on the cover that it is a collection of short stories. And so we've been blessed by 4 youth who actually took time out to read the 4 stories that's in the book. And so I know, first of all, we have Abigail. And so Abigail, we're going to ask you to tell us a little bit about the first story that's entitled A Grateful Day. A Grateful Day. What did you receive from it? Maybe if you want to give a little summary of what A Grateful Day is about, and then the life lesson. That's what I love about the book, Shakita, is that each of the stories come with such a powerful life lesson that it's a lesson not just for the youth, but as I was reviewing the book, I'm thinking to myself, I got to get it together. I'm reading the book going, I got to get it together. I got to wake up with some of the tendencies that Parker woke up with. And so, Abigail, what did you gather from the first story, A Grateful Day?
Well, in the first story, it talks about how Parker was really excited to go to the carnival, but she couldn't go. Well, she thought she wouldn't be able to go since it was raining, but she turned out able to go to the carnival either way, and she had a really fun time.
She did. She had a wonderful time. You know, how often are you disappointed, Abigail, because something don't go quite the way you expected? How do you feel when something don't go the way you wake up expecting it to go?
Usually a little bit upset.
So what ends up happening with old Parker? I see her having a conversation with her mother here on the screen because she was very disappointed. When you look at the illustration, Deacon Shakita, poor thing, she was really disappointed, waking up grateful, finding out it's raining outside, and then the mom has a little talk with her. What did you gather from the mother being in position, Abigail, to talk to Parker?
I think she kind of changed her perspective, that even though it's raining, we can still have a fun time. And they did move the carnival inside.
They did, didn't they? So what Parker thought was a failed event, I guess, Shakita, you talked to us a little bit, Shakita, about how and why the Lord gave you this story to convey to the youth in the world.
Absolutely. So when God gave me this story, it was more so the mindset that Abigail said the perfect word, your perspective about things. A lot of times things will not happen exactly as we want them to happen, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to happen. And that doesn't mean that God still doesn't have a plan for us. And so with this story, we saw Parker super excited that it was going to be such a fun day because this is an event that she was looking forward to. And when she woke up, it was sunny outside. And so she knew that it was just going to be an awesome day. But then in a matter of minutes or a short period of time, she sees the rain and she's completely disappointed, like, oh, my plans are shot. And so you see her mom basically encouraging her because her mom had information that Parker didn't really know. Her mom knew that if, there was a second option if it rained or if there was bad weather. Parker didn't know that. And so her mom was able to encourage her and say, hey, don't get down. We can still go to the carnival. And so Parker's like, wow, really? Like, why do you say that? And so when she gets to the school and see that, the carnival is still on, it's just not outside, she's completely excited. And so, like I said, God gave me that story just to remind us that we're to be grateful no matter how our day starts. It can always end up being great. And we just have to remind ourselves to be grateful.
Excellent. To the youth that are on the call, even Abigail, since this is the story you concentrated on, who do you find in your life, Abigail, that you can go to when something just don't go quite the way that you expected it to go? and your heart is heavy and you're disappointed, do you have any family or friends or church leaders that you feel like you can call on?
I usually go to my older sisters or my brother.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Have you ever thought or felt disappointed, Abigail, and you had a moment where you just held it in and you did not share it with anybody? And if so, how did that make you feel, not having someone to share your disappointment with?
I have done that. I should do that quite often, actually.
Is it a good feeling?
Not really.
It's always better to get it out, isn't it?
Yes.
So, I'm going to encourage the parents and the youth that are listening to our forum on today. It's always good to uproot. I call it poison, and that can come by way of fear. It can be anger. It can be frustration. It can be, in Parker's story, disappointment. But it's always more advantageous and healthy for us to uproot anything that we're dealing with people we trust in a safe place. And so, Shakita, that was a phenomenal story. So can we give it up for old Parker and a grateful day? I tell you, it makes us not jump too quick to the conclusion, because when all is said and done, only God knows the end results. We just have to trust him and believe that he's going to work it out. Whether we know how he's going to work it out or not, our trust is knowing that if it's in his hands, he's going to work it out. So anybody want to share on this particular chapter, A Grateful Day? All right, Shakita, you good? Okay. So wonderful. I do believe that Keziah has joined us. Let's see if we can come back and see Keziah. Keziah, where are you? There you go, beautiful. Everybody show Miss Keziah some love. Hey, darling. Welcome to the Zoom room. Hey, beautiful. Welcome to the Zoom room.
Hey, so do you want me to read A Perfect Fit?
Well, I tell you what, if you can summarize a little bit about what the second story, A Perfect Fit, was about, that would be great. Can you give us a summary of what the story was about and how it impacted you and what you learned from it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
A Perfect Fit was about sometimes like people don't like keep promises, or like you can't always trust on someone to keep a promise, and like you shouldn't always get so mad, like get frustrated, because Parker went to the mall and she saw her friend, and they were going to they both saw this shirt that they both liked, but there's only one, and there wasn't a size for Parker. So Parker said, okay, please wait, Riley, don't wear this yet. But Riley still wore it at school the next day. So Parker got mad, and she yelled at Riley and was really mean. But sometimes people can't always keep their promises, or sometimes people aren't perfect. So you can't always get mad at someone for little things.
That's good, Keziah. That's good, because what ends up happening at the end of the story that makes them both look so happy and back friends, Keziah?
Then Riley finds a shirt that Parker could get too, the same shirt. It's her size. So
I love it. Now, did you say that Parker apologized? I believe she apologized to Riley. Is that correct?
Yes, and Riley apologized to her too.
And wow, so it was a mutually beneficial outcome where Parker apologized to Riley for going off and hurting her feelings, and then Riley apologizes to Parker for doing something that hurted her feelings. And so I think that's a phenomenal moral of the story, is that we get mad oftentimes, Shakita, and don't even understand that it's the enemy's way of trying to separate us from someone who really loves us and is looking out for our best, because Riley ends up bringing her a shirt, and there they are celebrating. So Shakita, we're gonna let you share some insight on how the Lord and why the Lord will put a story of forgiveness in your spirit for the young people.
Yes, absolutely. And Keziah, that was awesome. You said a lot of good key points. And so this story came about is because we often hear, I know children a lot hear about adults and having to forgive. And I think that this is a very important lesson for children to learn early on in their life about showing forgiveness and even being on the end where you have to apologize. And so this story is about two friends who basically made a promise to each other. And one of those friends, like, because I said she wasn't perfect and she ended up not upholding her end of the promise. But then there was a part in the story where Parker speaks with her mother, and her mother reminds her that just because someone makes a mistake, that doesn't mean that they're no longer your friend. And she questioned Parker and asked her, is a shirt really worth losing a friendship over? And Parker had to really think about that. And as she's thinking about that, Riley comes over and she makes amends with Parker by explaining to her that she was able to find a shirt and apologizing. And so you see this story of just two friends who a mistake was made and they learned how to work through that situation and to forgive each other and move on. And so God downloaded this story into my spirit because as children, you're going to be faced with situations where you have to figure out how to deal with that relationship, and if it's worth saving that relationship, and how do you handle a situation when someone disappoints you or upsets you, because that's going to happen throughout your life. And so that's exactly what the key points that Keziah pointed out is exactly what this story is about.
Yes, Shakita, because we're all children of God. And that's the thing about it. We all get offended, we all get hurt, and we all become disappointed behind the actions of those that we love. And so it's amazing how, we usually go into a relationship thinking that I love you and I'll never hurt you. We got to be careful about saying that, because hurt comes in ways that we don't expect it to come. And it also helps to bond a relationship and make it stronger. And
Absolutely.
so, because forgiveness is a powerful tool, but if you don't ever have any reason to forgive someone, right? How do you utilize that powerful tool that God has given us called forgiveness? He forgave us, and he says, if you want me to continue to forgive you, you have to forgive others. So we have to know there are going to be circumstances in our life that's going to put a demand on us to forgive someone else. Have you all ever had an instance, young people, where someone did something to you and it was hard? Come on, can we just shift this thing and become transparent? It was hard to forgive. It was even hard to believe that they did this to you. But somewhere in your heart, Elijah, I see you shaking your head. What happened? And you had to find forgiveness in your heart for that person. Anybody had that instance happen in your life? Yes, go ahead and share a little bit about it. No, we don't have to give too much information, right? TMI, too much information, but wave your hand if you have found it hard to forgive, but you found it in your heart to forgive that person. Well, let me ask it this way. Why do you feel that eventually you found it in your heart to forgive that person? Why do you think you ended up feeling the need to forgive that person? Can I get that from you? How about you, Keziah? I think this was your chapter. Why do you think people feel it in their hearts, no matter how bad they're hurting or how disappointed they are behind someone else's actions? What do you think eventually makes a person feel the need to forgive another person?
Maybe because they know that it's like the right thing to do, or like it's of God. So like I should do this. So
excellent. So does anyone else have anything else that you want to share? I just keep going back to the fact that this was Parker's best friend, Shakita. It was her best friend. And I just keep hearing in the spirit that it's usually those that we love the most, that we trust the most, that do something, but it's not intentional. Can I just say that? it's not always intentional. You know, sometimes we try so hard to help and please people that offenses come out of that, but it's not intentional. That's what I think we have to remember. So we're going to shift on to our third story. I do believe it's Brianna's story. Brianna, I believe you read Determination Wins. So if you want to share a little bit about Parker in this story, that would be great. What do you remember about that story?
In Determination Wins, at her school, she has tryouts for the track team. And at first, she felt really nervous and didn't want to try out because she didn't think she was good enough or she didn't have enough confidence. She went home and talked with her parents about it, and they told her to try anyway, even if she was afraid, or even if she didn't get on the team. When she went to go try out, the star of the track team came over and told her that she shouldn't do it because she wouldn't make the team. And she signed up anyway to prove him wrong that she can get onto the track team. And she ended up being the fastest person he'd seen. And she got onto the track team and he apologized to her.
Oh, wow. Deacon Shakita, talk to us. I mean, this is awesome because, you know, one thing that rings out in my spirit as Brianna was talking was this right here. There's going to always be that one to bring opposition, to challenge you. You always, Shakita, hey, young people, there's always going to be that one. Go ahead, Deac Shakita.
Yes, absolutely. So I think if I had to pick a story that I probably resonate with the most, it's probably going to be Determination Wins, because I've had, as Piva has stated, times in my life where you're going to have the naysayers, and I've had that definitely. And I like this story because you see at the beginning, Parker is a little discouraged, and she does feel like, you know, why would I try out if I don't make the team? And so again, she goes to her support system, which is her mom and dad. And so you'll probably see throughout the all of the story, she has this support system, whether it's a friend, whether it's her mom, whether it's her dad. She always gets some words of wisdom or encouragement from someone from her support system, and they encourage her and they say this story was more so about overcoming your fears regardless of what the outcome may be. And they encourage her and they say, Parker, you know what, even if you don't make the team, overcome your fear by trying out, and if you do your best, that is enough. And I think that's my favorite quote from the story is, if you try your best, that will be enough. And so at the end of the story, when Parker wins, basically blows everyone else out of the water, that same person, Marshall, in the story, who told her that she couldn't do it, had to give her her props and say, you know what, you proved me wrong. And so this was just a story where I wanted to encourage young children to believe in yourself, know that you can do any and everything, and that with God on your side, you can never fail.
I love it. To our young people on, that was an awesome job you did, Brianna, summarizing the story. Thank you so much. But Brianna, have you ever been faced with a challenge that seemed like it could be impossible? And if so, what did you do to overcome the impossibilities to make it possible?
I kept trying, and then I eventually got it.
Good. And so effort, it sounds like you're saying you gotta at least give it your best. Like Parker said, give it your best. That's all you can give, right? You can't give something you don't have, but you can give and do your best. And like Shakita said, that was one of my favorite parts too. She did her best and that was enough. Sometimes we put more pressure on ourselves than others. How many of you ever felt like you're putting more pressure on yourself than your mom? You put more pressure on yourself than your teacher, when all they're looking for is you to just do the best you can do. But that's a great story, Shakita, great story. And I want to go ahead and shift into Junior Deacon Elijah, our team leader that's on. I know this story is you all the way. It was entitled Lead the Way. It was entitled Lead the Way. And so we're going to give you an opportunity, Junior Deacon Elijah, to talk about how the leader in Parker was pulled out and placed on display for her friends to see. Go ahead, Junior Deacon, take us there.
Well, all right. Well, so Parker has this new kid in class, this new girl in class, and it seems like nobody wants to interact with her. No one wants to, eat lunch, talk with her, because they think she's weird. Because I guess he thinks she's from somewhere else. And when it comes lunchtime, she's very hungry. When it comes lunchtime, her friends don't want to eat with her, don't want to eat with the new kid, and she just follows her friends, knowing that the right thing was to go over there and eat lunch with her. And she doesn't really feel good about it. She goes home, talks with her mom. Her mom says, you know what, you gotta do what you gotta do the right thing, except for your friends, even though your friends may say one thing, you gotta lead and follow. You just can't follow everybody else. You gotta be the change and lead by example. And change is good. Diversity is good. Can't just have one of everything. Gotta have some of everything. And next day, she goes and sits with the new girl, and before you know it, her friends are there too. They're having fun all together. So that's a quick summary. And I think what thing is that I think she had put her friends on too high of a pedestal, thinking that, oh no, what are my friends going to think if I go sit with them? And I think that it was good that she just ignored what her friends would have said, or how everybody else would have looked at her, or how they would have acted around her, and just, did the right thing. Because that gut feeling, even I had that sometimes, if I know I would have did the right thing, but it's just, and it bugs me all day. But when I'm glad I get the opportunity to change that, it goes away and everybody's feeling good. And that's what I think.
I love it. God uses that one to bring opposition, but he always has a way of using you to bring about the unity. Isn't that amazing? The opposition comes to divide. And Elijah, we have to take that stand to bring the unity back. So Deacon Shakita, this was a powerful story. We live it every day. Do I conform to the ways of the world and the direction my friends are going, or do I take a stand for what I know is right? Amazing.
Absolutely, yes. This story is very important because it teaches children how to lead by example, as Junior Deacon Elijah said. And there's going to be so many times as you go throughout school and as you go throughout life where you're going to have to make the choice to go against the grain. And when I say that, meaning go against what seems to be the popular thing, or the thing that people are doing, but it's not quite the right decision. And so when God gave me this story, I really wanted to focus on making sure that you're being the light. As children of God, we're supposed to be the light. So that means we're supposed to be the example. And so in this story, Parker knew that what her friends were saying and how they were acting towards this new student, Quinn, wasn't right. And she went to her mom to get confirmation for what she already knew what was the right thing to do. And so what I love about at the end of this story is oftentimes your friends will make decisions, but when they see you doing something and they see you being the leader, they will follow suit and they will want to do what you're doing. And so we hear all of the time our senior pastors and PV and Apostle Charlie talking about being atmosphere changers. And so in this situation, Parker changed the atmosphere. She was able, just through her actions, to change how her friends responded. And so that's why this story is so important, because you're all going to have an opportunity to change your environment just through your actions, just through your words.
Absolutely. How many of you feel like even when you make a decision, deep down inside, you know when you made the wrong decision. And I think sometimes, what do? We lose sleep behind it. Sometimes we treat people different behind the decision that we make, but deep down inside, that's the Holy Spirit, and it's called conviction. It's called conviction. And in one of the stories, I think that's where you saw the forgiveness and the apology. Lord, you know, just like we ask others to forgive us, we have to oftentimes ask the Lord to forgive us. Because what happened with Parker is she actually did not go over to eat with that girl that first day. And she knew that wasn't the will of God. But when she did go back over to eat with her, she brought everyone back together. And so now this young lady has not just one friend by way of Parker. God used Parker to bring a host of friends around this new girl. And so that is what relationships, once again, is all about. And the book, Shakita, I love it because God sent his son to what? Restore our relationships back to the Father. And in this book, it's just full of relationships. Opposition comes to separate and divide relationships. Holy Spirit uses us to bring relationships back together again. And so I think it's a phenomenal book. I'm going to ask our young people to just share a little bit on how and why you would recommend this book to your peers and to the parents who have youth in their family. We can start with Elijah. Junior Deacon, can you share a little bit along those lines?
Yeah, for sure. I'd recommend this book to my peers and everybody else, because even though it's not like a big, thick chapter book, you know, sometimes we got to go back to the basics. Sometimes we have to, we have to go back to these are simple stories right here. Because this is every day. This is every day in our lives. This is not just for little kids. This is what grown-ups sometimes go through too. You know, and I think it's just a good book for like real life scenarios. And it's not tough. It's not like a hard book. You know, it's a very easy book, and I think that everybody will enjoy this book because it has lots of, you know, emotion, lots of passion, lots of intellectual ability, and I really like it. It's
I
very
could
good.
not have explained it better myself.
Thank you.
Excellent. Abigail, would you recommend this book to your peers and to parents who have youth in their family? And if so, why?
I would. It's a very good book, has a lot of good examples and a lot of good words just snap from my head. A lot of good life lessons, other things you can learn from.
Excellent, excellent. Another recommendation.
Thank you,
Abigail.
Abigail.
Thank you. If you had 3 or 4 copies of the book, Abigail, who would you give the book to? I'm gonna put your mom and dad on the alert now. If you had 3 or 4 copies, would you keep them in your room, or who would you bless the book with? Who would you bless with the book? 3 people.
My friends.
Okay. 3 friends or 1 friend?
1 friend.
Okay.
My sister.
Okay. Come on, we said it's for all ages. Who's the 3rd person?
My other friend.
Your other friend. 2 friends and a sister. All right. Wonderful. Keziah, would you recommend this book to your friends, honey, and to the parents who have children in their family? If so, why? Unmute there.
Why I would recommend this to someone?
Yes, darling.
Well, I would recommend this to someone because like this is like life lessons. This is like things that you need to learn, and you don't want to like make those mistakes.
Ooh.
And it's like teaching you something.
Love it. They may not have been able to hear you very good, but she said it will help you not make some of the same mistakes. And so that's excellent, Keziah. Excellent. Thank you, darling. Brianna, how about you?
I would recommend it because it teaches you how to tune out the bad voices and how to keep going and how to be kind and do the things that you know are right, even when you think other people won't like it.
Excellent. Thank you. Shakita, we're going to give you an opportunity. Yes, thank you to Junior Deacon Elijah. We want to shout him out. Come on, let's give it up for Abigail Brandon, all the way from Alabama, Williamsburg. We have Keziah DeValle and Hampton, VA, none other than Brianna Robinson. And our special guest, somebody say Araya, somebody say Araya, little Miss Araya. She didn't have anything to say, but yes, give us a little wave. Give us that princess wave. Yes, that beauty queen wave. Oh, we love you, darling. Shakita, I want to thank you and all of the youth for just pulling away. I do believe that we have some comments. Joyce Jackson, chats in the chat room. Can you just share a few of the things that you are seeing in the chat room?
Yes, ma'am. Minister Deborah said, outstanding insight and participation. So she wanted to thank Abigail, Keziah, Brianna, and Junior Deacon Elijah. She also said, congratulations, Deacon Shakita, on a wonderful book. We also have Elder Karen said, such insight from our young panelists today.
Yes. Awesome. Young people, truly you did share some tremendous insight. And it just, Shakita, how do you feel to just know that a book you published is making such a powerful impact on the youth in general, not just in the world, but right here in your own ministry? They're able to convey this book and share the way that you've witnessed today.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm really trying hard right now not to get emotional, but I'm super proud. I'm super proud. This is exactly, you know, when God gave me this vision, this is the impact that I wanted. I want people to be able to read this book and share what they learned when they had these life experiences, or share, you know, when someone else is going through a similar situation, they're like, oh, I remember this in the book. And so I'm super proud of all of you. I have no doubt at all that you all are going to continue to be amazing, outstanding, you know, youth that are letting your light shine bright. And I really appreciate all of the support, both here and through internet church, everyone that is watching, that is tuned in, and everyone who has purchased the book. So,
and once again, the youth have shared that this is a book that is excellent for all ages. And so I want to personally encourage you, if you have not already secured your book, Old Parker, a collection of short stories. These stories are more than stories. They are life lessons. They are lessons that we at all ages should be learning and continue to put in practice every day of our life. Be careful when you get to a place where you lose determination, or you stop apologizing, or you stop forgiving, or you just give up and throw in the towel because opposition comes your way. All of these are life lessons for all of us, no matter how young or how wise. So I believe it was campus pastor Danette Miller who shared with me that she enjoyed the book. And I said, well, you know what? I am like Deacon Elijah. I'm not a real big reader of stories, but this book, I'm so glad that I picked it up and I read it, because it does charge us. It charges us to live right. It charges us to do the right thing. It propels us to use the determination that we have on the inside of us to do what we know we are capable of doing. Opposition will always come our way. But when all is said and done, you have to have that support team that believe in you. And so young people, we believe in you, and we're here to encourage you. We're glad that you were blessed by this book. And it's my hope and dream that you will ask your parents to purchase, here you go, Shakita, another copy of the book. Say, Mom, it's selfish. It's selfish for me to keep this wonderful book to myself. I'm going to bless somebody with this book. I need you to buy me another one, right? I need you to buy me another book. But they have birthdays coming up. I want to challenge you to start putting something that is purposeful in the hands of those that have birthdays coming up, Christmas is coming up, and just anytime that you want to put something, a tool in a young person's hand that's going to inspire them and propel them and cause them to live a life that's going to be pleasing to God. Old Parker has 4 stories that portray life lessons that any of us should continue to learn until the good Lord calls us home. Right, Deacon Shakita? These are lessons that we're going to take to the grave with us. We're going to the day the Lord calls us home, we're going to still be learning how to be a better Christian, a better friend, and
Yes.
how to just be more determined to do what God has called us to do without allowing opposition to stop us
Absolutely.
along the way. It's a crazy journey. So Deacon Shakita, we're going to give you an opportunity to just share anything else that's on your heart, in addition to the methods that a person can utilize to secure their copy of the Old Parker book.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Again, thank you all for joining. Thank you to the awesome youth who read the book and who shared their thoughts. It's so, like, it just really warms my heart, and it means so much to me. And just continue to share with your friends what you've learned, and also know that you can do all things through Jesus Christ. This was a long time goal of mine. And no matter how long it may take for you to do something, know that it is always achievable. And so with that, one more time, I will reiterate that the book is available Walmart, online at Walmart, Amazon, Target, Barnes & Noble. And I believe you can also order in store at Barnes & Noble. So I'm sure if you do a Google search, there may be other retailers that pop up, but those are probably the main ones that you all are familiar with. So, and Kindle, the electronic version.
All right, Joyce Jackson said, I got my copy on Amazon today. And if you have Amazon Prime, you'll have it by tomorrow. Right, Shakita? Amazon Prime will get it to you by tomorrow. But do be a blessing to others that are in your realm of influence. And we do believe that the stories conveyed in Old Parker will help someone to make the right decision and to establish the right support group that will help them carry out the assignment and the call of God that is upon their lives. And so thank you, author Deacon Shukita Massey. Thank you to all of the youth. Commend you for the outstanding work that you are doing. Continue to lead and continue to be that light that's shining in this dark world. Araya, thank you for joining us. And Joyce Jackson, we want to thank you for your time in moderating. Thank you, everyone, and do have a blessed rest of your day. The video recording will be available in case you want to share this insight with others in your family or in your community. Thank you again. I'm Prophet Vikki Ammons, and on behalf of Wow Ministries International, we thank you for your time. God